And of course, we're still on the modes of transport, and in this case is how our team members got to work. One took the train and the bus and got to work early. Heidi Djokovic or Jokers rather, beg your pardon. And then Nobesuthu Hejana took a taxi. I think you're still commuting. And Nobesuthu Jason was on his way to work. So I'm not sure who made it to the finish line so far. Let's test with Nobesuthu. Good morning to you. Hi, Nobesuthu.
Morning, Cindy. Well, we are still walking to the office. We have about 10 minutes to walk to the office because our taxi arrived just before 7:30 at the taxi rank, and obviously there's a number of taxis that are getting in, so we had to some sort of wait for that. And I mean, you know what, I'll confess, it was a given that our colleague Heidi was going to take this one because, like you said, the Gau train is very fast, and my colleague Desmond being on the road since the early hours of this morning, so we had to, well, we do have to give it to them, but we'll try and run before these robots open.
Okay, how far are you? Just to give us a sense. How far are you from the office?
I'm like 5 minutes away from the office.
I see that both of you are walking in different cities, of course. They said, how far are you from the office? So you might just make it into second place. And that is if Nobesuthu doesn't beat you to it.
Cindy, I don't like that term second place. You know, I like to call it first runner-up. That's really what it is.
Okay.
I'm secure in that place.
If that makes you feel better, then...
I'm comfortable with that. I took that the last time around. So I'm now walking. I think I'm probably just around 5 minutes away from the office park. It's here to my left, but I still have to get around the front of it so we can get in there in good time. But it's been quite a journey. You know, I think what this also highlights for me is if you look at the woman that I spoke to in the bus, she was coming to the same office park, so which means that she's essentially got the same journey that I'm doing now. So she had to get up fairly early. She said she was up at 4. She had to then catch the bus just after 5 o'clock, make the trip into eNCA. It first passes through the Durban CBD, taking into account all of those other challenges. Fortunately today, we didn't have a lot of traffic to contend with, and the bus was only slightly delayed. But then when you get here to eNCA, you have to get off the bus and you have a choice. Do you then take a taxi and pay extra money to get to where you're going, or do you do what we're doing and you just decide to walk down the road? So we've been walking now for, I think, just under 10 minutes, and it'll be probably, as I said, another 5 or so before we make it in. But I think certainly it was one of the better days if you look at all of those other situations. For example, me at home, I didn't have load shedding this morning. That's an added bonus. But taking all those things into account, you know, I'm going to pat myself on the back here. Nkanyuso's been along on the journey with me. I'd say we did quite well.
I say you did very well. We're very proud of you. But how integrated is the transport system? Because we know there has been a concerted effort, the Rea Vaya bus here in Gauteng and others in different provinces. Did you get a sense that at least you can connect from one point to the other with relative ease?
I think we are still some way away from that, but at least within that Durban transport space with those buses, they do have a system going. So they have schedules. You see that the passengers that get onto the bus when you enter, they know that it's come along at a certain that system integrated within itself, but it's not necessarily integrated with all the connecting modes of transport, and that's why you then have to take that upon yourself, this whether you're going to jump onto a taxi or whether you're going to walk. That there's certainly, as I mentioned earlier, see it more distinctly, that life is very early.
Sorry, Jason, your connectivity there is a bit scratchy. We just have to let you go because the connectivity is a bit scratchy there. But thank you so much for that report. And Nobesuthu, just back to you. Jason says he's about, give or take, 5 minutes away from the office. How far are you so we can essentially award you your prizes? I think you'll both be second runner-ups. He says he doesn't like the term being in second place because it suggests you're second best, so it doesn't gel or sit well with him. How far are you now?
I think you'll have to settle for the third place, because jumping the next robots and then we'll be at the office. I'm out of breath because we've been trying to pick up our pace. But just to talk about this morning's journey also, when I was speaking to some of the commuters in that taxi, they were telling me that today's traffic was at least better than the previous days. So they're not sure if it's our presence that made it easier for them. But they were saying that, especially one lady that we spoke to off camera, she was telling me that she would normally get to town around about 8:30, and in most instances should be late. Sure, Cindy, I'm trying to catch my breath.
Yeah, maybe we should let you catch your breath. And I mean, you also have your backpack, you're carrying a big load, and here you are having woken up at the crack of dawn to try and get public transport. We saw you having to wait in the queue for the taxi to be full, and then sit in almost an hour and a half traffic on the end to get to Cape Town. So are you okay now? Do you want to stop maybe and take a quick breath, or you just want to make it to the finish line?
Sure.
You want to make it to the finish line?
Well, we are close, yeah. But we can talk as we walk. Certainly.
So where are you for some
we
people
are
that
close.
Yeah, sorry. Just give us your geographical location. Where in Cape Town are you exactly?
So we are close to Ruland Road, just by the office in District 6. And we're next to the CPUT, Cape Peninsula University of Technology, and we're walking up. I'm not sure if you'll be able to see our office because of the weather, but that is our office there, the brown building. That's where we are headed to. And as I was talking about this morning's journey, the ladies were telling me that at least this morning it was a bit better, but they're saying that, you know, they choose to commute the taxis because for them it's affordable and they're able to catch a taxi at any time, as compared to the buses where they operate using a specific schedule. So I think I'll take this one from Dessen.
Yeah, I think what today demonstrated as well is whether, even if the system has got cracks or it needs improvement, but it is working. One way or another, commuting, millions of South Africans who depend on public transport to get to work, to get to their employment. Also the challenges of not always being on time because of the system not necessarily being reliable. So I think we shared a lot of the pain of commuters as well, saying that they have to wake up sometimes 2 hours or so prior to having to catch the closest taxi, or they have to walk in dark spaces. There's a safety issue, especially for women as well. But what has your experience been, Nobesuthu? I mean, you have your own vehicle, so this must have been quite a humbling journey for you as well.
Certainly. I mean, I've never catched a taxi in Cape Town, so this was the first time traveling from Stellenbosch to Cape Town. And I must say, I mean, I did enjoy it a bit, not driving. It's always fun to be a passenger. And like I said earlier, I mean, I chose a specific seat because I did not want to count money there in the taxi. And I mean, for a lot of people who are commuting, especially those who don't have their means of private vehicles, it's a big deal because you wake up early in the morning, you prepare, and sometimes there's load shedding, so it's quite hard to get to work on time. And also given that there's traffic on the road, so especially when the robots are not working or the traffic lights are not working. So for these people that are dependent on public transport, I mean, they have to make it work, and it's hard.
Yeah, all right, we're gonna leave it there. Thank you so much. Nobesuthu Hejana making her way to the office in Cape Town. Dessen Thathia is also the second runner-up. Heidi Jokos took the prize, but let's find out how you responded, because earlier on we asked you, who do you think is going to win the race to work today using our public transport system? Was it Heidi Jokos? As we said, she used the Gau train and the Gau bus from Midrand to Rosebank, and then took the bus to Hyde Park. Nobesuthu Hejana, as you heard earlier, took a bus, or taxi rather, from Stellenbosch to Cape Town. And Dason took a taxi from Lamondville to Durban. Your comments on Facebook. Hope Lunga, good morning to you. You selected Heidi, an obvious winner. And Jasmine Graf, good morning to you. If the taxi is not in an accident, Nobesuthu should win. And if the Gautrain cables are not stolen, Heidi should win. If the bus is not stolen or burnt, Dason should win. You know, so you only had 3 choices. But anyway, all 3 arrived safely. That's the hope from Jasmine Graf. Thank you for that. And we have a Breakham Dao, says Heidi Jokos. That's on Twitter. And at the Gautrain, definitely no other winner. Hashtag Gautrain Journeys. Silo Kungwane. Thank you so much for your post. You also said, obviously, Heidi, Gautrain Umashesha. Hashtag, what is that? At EFF Scene. Number 1 is I'm on the bus with Heidi and I take the Gautrain bus. Always reliable, always on time, except when there's load shedding. Thanks, guys, for your post as well. Much appreciated.